Good morning. I'll get straight to the point. Audio on my last video was literally my bad. Okay, literally you could stop haranguing me about it. Also, thank you for subscribing. I would consider this a large dinner party now. Like, you guys can all come to my birthday. Unless you're an Aries man or a Cancer born in June. Wait, let me just double check this. Never mind. I know 11 people. I have almost enough fingers to count that. I keep a very long list of video ideas that I made even before I started my channel. And for like the past month, I've simply decided to ignore the list, and it makes me feel like a little guilty. Anyway, I was gonna make this video because I asked my mom and she said that was her choice. But is today Mother's Day? Yes. Sorry, no disrespect to my actual mother. So happy week 1 of the Eras Tour. There are many controversial opinions about Miss Taylor Swift, and you know, they range from more silly claims like she has too many ex-boyfriends, to the Gaylors, to serious discussions about her political activism or lack thereof. Here's something that we can all agree on, which is that her official merchandise sucks. Good God, it sucks. Actually, this is how Taylor is supporting small businesses, because I would much rather purchase a sweatshirt made by a 20-year-old on Etsy than any of these. Guess which of these posters are being sold on Taylor's website for $30 and which one was made by me in 13 minutes. So the mission for today is to design the concept for a poster that I think would be cool based on the lyric of one of the songs that she performed for the first time at opening night of the Eras Tour. Also, before I show you the sketches, I just want to acknowledge that there are some individuals on the internet, because I've never met one in the wild, who will actually use their sketchbook as like the final pieces of art. Like, huh? I would like to request a secondary sketchbook reveal because I feel like I'm being tricked every time I go on TikTok. This is a good page of my sketchbook. Oh, let me show you up close and personal. This is an excellent page. This one's also a sketch I did for last video, and then of course we have all of my Mandalorian drawings. I'm so serious right now. This is an actual drawing, can you believe? This one's actually kind of good. Even though it looks like I drew these with a dull-ass crayon in my left hand, they mean something to me, and I was going to either do this one or this one, Cruel Summer or Bejeweled, and I asked my resident Swift counsel, and she said Cruel Summer. It's me. Hi, I'm the editor. It's me. Most of this video is going to be voiceover because I was really struggling to draw on this video and I did not have the energy to speak while I was drawing. And you'll see here in a moment that I oftentimes did not have the energy to record while I was drawing either. So it's going to look as though I'm going to show you my sketching process and then I just don't, which is an interesting choice by me. And I'm going to have to stick by it because I have no other choice. I'm just giving you a heads up in post-production. Alright, so that was my initial sketch layer. We're about to get into the second sketch layer. That's right, there's 2. I'm streamlining the process so that you are amused for longer. Oh my god. I'm really bad at this. I should probably write a script. The day before Taylor Swift's opening night of the Eras Tour, she posted this set of photos with the caption, "I'm in my Eras era," which is of course internet lingo in which a person says, "I'm in my blank era." Lucky for you, I actually did some research on the etiology of this phrase. According to this article I found by ID Vice, the origins of saying "I'm in my blank era" can be attributed to Stan Twitter, when people would be talking about different periods in a musician's career, and the period of their career that was not as successful as other periods would be coined as their flop era. And then people started to turn this phrase inward when they're not doing well, saying, "I'm in my flop era." In the grand total of 3 articles that I read on the topic, all of them were very internet centric, which is true that this phrasing, "I'm in my blank era," lives mostly on the internet and, you know, people who are chronically online and say slay too much. The reason that I find Taylor Swift's role in the popularization and perpetuation of "I'm in my blank era" to be so fascinating is in part because of this quote from her Netflix documentary, Miss Americana, where she says,
"Be new to us, be young to us, but only in a new way and only the way we want. And reinvent yourself, but only in a way that we find to be equally comforting, but also a challenge for you.
Bread intermission. So at this point in the video, I am just getting really frustrated with my drawing. So I decided to make bread for the first time. This is me mixing some flour and water, and this is me mixing that into my sourdough starter. This was a good time for me to ponder some questions like, why am I struggling so much to render this drawing? If I restart the drawing, is it acceptable for me to lie about it? At what point is this considered homogeneous? Made some progress here. I'm going to show you draft 2 and 3, as well as continue on with my spiel about the eras. Go watch Miss Americana if you have some spare time. Hate Taylor Swift, that's fine. It's just like really interesting to see how she's had to navigate being a woman in the public eye. There are just some interesting themes about how self-presentation affects the kind of narrative that you create about your own life. The narrative here is that I'm a pro baker going back to my bread because it is the following day and bread is not really supposed to be like a week-long project. Something about the interaction with the yeast, I think. I'm pretty sure. I've never made bread before. The search for reinvention is not one unique to celebrities. Look no further than the New Year, New You industry, or the endless list of globe videos on YouTube, or how many times I personally have cut my bangs at midnight. I actually am not going to admit to an estimate on that. But anyway, this rhetoric about reinvention and the obsession with a woman's youth is touched a little bit by this article by Mashable, but from a different angle. Although the author offers no concrete explanation for this, she describes the era trend as describing things straight white men will never understand and categorizing these feelings into eras inspired by pop culture. She speaks specifically to videos characterizing a Joe March era, a Fleabag era, one's Reputation era, as ways to categorize and disassociate from certain painful times. I have this friend who will regularly use this vocabulary, like specifically pointing to different moments in her life and being like, oh, that was during my Lana Del Rey era, which is different than my Jules from Euphoria era. And now we've kind of entered my Manic Pixie Dream Girl era. It's my understanding that she wasn't actively trying to be like Lana Del Rey or Jules from Euphoria, but in hindsight, it makes it much easier for her to explain her past mindsets and actions to people who haven't gone through the same experiences that she's gone through, because this person has their own understanding of these different female archetypes that they're able to derive her meaning from just based on their own understanding of what a Lana Del Rey era would mean. So I guess what I'm trying to poke at is that there seems to be a couple of ways to create a personal era. One, there's some intentional action that pushes your own reinvention. Two, it's a way to categorize and process experiences beyond your own control. And from these sources, there's an implication that both of these responses are rooted in an existence under a patriarchy as someone that does not directly benefit from it. For the Washington Post, Jessica Goldstein wrote, "Online, civilians act like celebrities, or maybe more to the point, protagonists. They aspire to main character energy. They're doing it for the plot." This quote contributes to the point that I was making before, in terms of there being two different approaches to this concept of a personal era. This article by the Post is supporting the view that it's about performance. You know, I am interested, not interested enough to put it in this video, but I am interested in this idea of how it is a consequence of suffering under a white supremacist patriarchy that contributes to this search for reinvention and understanding. Yeah, I don't really know enough to dig deep into this. I feel like there's like a little trail. Like I found one breadcrumb and there could be something really interesting here, but I just don't want to get derailed off of what I was talking about before. Like, let me wrap it back around to Taylor. So not only has Taylor been a proponent of this idea of self-reinvention as a way to capitalize off of the narrative that they're creating about their own life, also corners she's been forced into. Specifically, I'm thinking her Reputation album, when everybody was like, oh my god, I hate Taylor Swift is over party, blah blah blah, and she was like, okay, I'm gonna play to it. Yeah, girl boss icon.
Are you ready for it?
I'm so sorry. That was just really, really funny to me. Anyway, so we're talking about, Taylor Swift and how she's in her Eras era now, which is again a response to her being forced into a corner where she wanted to buy her music but wasn't able to, and so she's revisiting these old eras but reinventing them in a way that fits her life in her 30s. So yeah, like this video if you are the protagonist of your own story and Subscribe if I'm the protagonist of your story. I'm just kidding. Subscribe if you think I should enter my regularly uploads era or whatever. Okay, bye. Talk to you later.